4-3, powered by Ramos Law. All right, Cecil, earlier we talked about some of our offensive questions that we have about this team.
Right. A lot of running back talk.
Yeah, a lot of running back talk, like who are going to be the top two, where do the bottom two fit after that? And then my biggest is still going to be, does anybody actually trust Sean Payton to, and I don't want people to twist my words, which will happen anyway, but it's not that I'm sitting here going, the Denver Broncos have to be a run-first football team. They're like the Baltimore Ravens do. No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
No.
I just need a healthier split. And it doesn't have to be 50-50. I understand that it's 2025. I understand who Sean Payton is, and I understand this is a league where you throw the football down the field to have success. Yes, I want them to do that. Again, a reason why I think Evan Ingram's going to be a big deal. Win the middle of the field, open up the outside of the field. Then run the football so that you can really kill those defenders with some play action. That's it, man. That's my biggest question coming into this season. Is Sean Payton really going to establish enough of a run game to show what Bo can really be in the passing game?
Yeah, and that's where play-action passing comes into play. Because if you're going to run the ball, your defense is going to adjust. It's the declaration of influence. And if you're not running the ball, who cares? We're not going to cram the box and jam the line of scrimmage. We're just going to play off coverage. We're going to play a shell, quarters concepts, whatever. It's the most popular Vic Fangio ripoff around the league. Yeah, but if you're running the ball, you have to adjust. You can't play like that. If you're running the football, those safeties have to creep up. And Bo Nix, one of the best things about Bo Nix is that now he can beat you before the ball is snapped. This isn't about, and this is where some would get it wrong, of like he gets the ball and then he deciphers and goes through his reads. He already knows where to go. Peyton Manning wasn't out there reading the defense as the play happened. He was tricking you while the play happened because before the ball was snapped, he already knew where he was going with the ball. Bo Nix will have that same sort of capability this year and beyond. That's who he is. That's his game. His game is on the mental side, and the best quarterbacks have to have that mental side. Ton of guys have big arms. Ton of guys can run. Doesn't matter if you don't have the smarts. And we know that Bo Nix does. If you have a ground game to associate that with him, now all of a sudden your defense has to adjust. They pull up closer. You run by them on a deep shot, fake the handoff. Oh, they bit. Wide open Cortland Sutton touchdown. Big play, Marvin Mims.
Oh, yeah.
The Marvin Mims touchdowns could be approaching double digits, including special teams, this year merely because of play-action passing. Marvin Mims is the perfect play-action wide receiver because he runs really fast in a straight line. And that's what you would need if the defense had their one eye in the backfield, knowing that the Broncos are running the ball effectively. It just makes the entire offense better. It makes Bo Nix better, and it gets you those field-flipping plays that only teams with that ground game can establish.
So that's it. Can it's not even a can they have addressed the position. They have the best, or one of, depending on how you want to look at it, offensive lines in the entire NFL. That's another thing I think we need to talk about as far as our season kind of view goes. Of is this offensive line going to be able to remain healthy the way they have, avoiding the big ones over the last couple of years? Because the line is in place. It's literally on the coach.
Yes.
Will the coach put enough of an emphasis on it that they're going to do it? Or does he still feel... See, that's the other thing. Is there any... He would never tell us this, but there's got to be some validation from Sean Payton from what Bo was looked at and then turned into, where he doesn't have to force anything. He doesn't have to prove anything anymore. Even the knuckleheads like Bomani Jones that doesn't believe, they're now the exception. Most people got on board to where you and I were from the very beginning, but Bo is the real deal. You don't have to prove anything else.
Yeah, and I don't think Sean will necessarily have that mindset now. He's already proven it. He took the sixth quarterback, and he made him the best quarterback in this class, potentially. Now, Penix could push for that. Jaden obviously could. Jaden's going to have a step back this year.
Jaden had a better season from team success. Bo had better numbers from an individual perspective.
Yes. Yeah. Sean's already proved that.
Yeah.
So now it's on Sean to go get another Super Bowl ring. That's why he's here. Sean Payton is here so that he can win another Super Bowl ring and be the first coach in NFL history that wins a championship with two different franchises. That's his focus. his focus isn't on, I've got to prove people wrong, right about Bo Nix or whatever. Like, no, he's already done that. If you know ball, you know Bo Nix can play. Sean Payton doesn't have to worry about that now. Not that he ever would necessarily. But what's the ultimate flex, right? In life and necessarily in football. The ultimate flex is a championship.
Yeah.
The ultimate flex on the ultimate flex is a championship with two different franchises because it hasn't happened before.
Mm-hmm. And your handpicked quarterback on that second, and kind of his handpick on the first one because Miami fumbled the bag so badly. So.
Yeah. And I know Breeze was with the Chargers, and it was Marty Ball there, and they were running the ball a lot with Marty Schottenheimer, of course, because that was Marty Ball. So, can he necessarily claim Breeze as his own? Not really.
He took him to the next level.
He took him to the next level, for sure. He can claim the development of Tony Romo. Take that for whatever you want.
Sure.
And he has developed younger quarterbacks, but this would be the most obvious answer for everyone saying, well, Sean Payton, yeah, he did it with Drew Brees, but he's never done it with a rookie quarterback. All right, well, he did. He was a big part of Tony Romo's development, and he can be the reason Bo Nix becomes a Super Bowl champion. That's the ultimate flex, and that's what Sean Payton wants.
How about, wide receiver 1 we know is Cortland Sutton. Wide receiver 2 is, supposed to be a Marvin Mims, right? Unless it's a Devon Bailey's job to take, which will play out in real time. What about wide receiver 3? We never talk about wide receiver 3 because it's like, out of sight, out of mind. Well, not so fast. I know Evan Ingram's going to be looked at as that third wide receiver in most sets.
Maybe even the second.
Or maybe even the second, you're right. But wide receiver 3 that kind of, I look at that as like start to emerge, show us there's some potential there that's been untapped that coach and offensive coordinating staff can work with. Who do you think that is?
Yeah, it should be Devon Bailey or Marvin Mims, whoever doesn't win the battle for number 2. But honestly, it could be Pat Bryant.
In year 1.
Pat Bryant has an opportunity. I'm not going to say he's leading the team in touchdown catches, but with his red zone ability and body control, if he was like a red zone specialist, we have Evan Ingram with 3-4 touchdowns this year, right? 3-4-5 touchdowns, whatever. It's not going to be a 9 or whatever.
That's what I wanted. You told me that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that Pat Bryant might be 3, 4, 5, 6 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like, now all of a sudden, his red zone presence, he has 25 catches, 6 of them are for touchdowns.
Yeah.
That could be what's coming up for that young man. So maybe more 4 talk than 3 talk, but certainly a dangerous asset and an asset that you're looking at developing for the future. The Devon Bailey injury, for mandatory minicamp, Devon Bailey did not participate because of some minor injury. Going to be okay for training camp, according to Sean Payton a month ago.
Yeah.
We're about ready to find out.
Find out tomorrow.
Yeah. Who's on the PUP list? Who's not on the PUP list? Who's out there practicing? Who's not out there practicing? But that Bailey injury might prompt them, if they were thinking about anything with Cortland Sutton, of like, hey, we don't need it because Bailey is coming up. Bailey was the stud of studs at OTAs. Mandatory minicamp, he did not participate. So maybe that injury forces the Broncos to just pay Sutton. They don't need to be forced. They should just be doing it anyway. But is Bailey the future 1, or is that actually Pat Bryant, who's the 4 this year?
Yeah. I know they have high hopes for Pat. You and I both like the idea of what Pat can be, but how quickly, that's what we're talking about. Mims is in front of him. Bailey's in front of him. I would assume they look at it as Franklin being in front of him. I don't know that I'd put that on my first little unofficial depth chart, but I'm sure they will have him behind all of those wide receivers.
Yeah, he'll have to prove himself, but he also can do something that the others haven't really proven themselves. And of course, he hasn't proven it at the NFL level, so don't at me, bro. But it's body control, it's box out ability, it's catching high pointing passes. Sutton does it, and that's about it. Mm-hmm. Honestly, Bailey's game isn't necessarily that. If he's better at leverage, which he seemed to be at OTAs, not at mandatory because he didn't participate, but we have to see that develop for Bailey. I already know Bryant can do that.
Mm-hmm. I almost look at, and we're getting inside football here, but like if you're Sean Payton, you want Bailey to almost be like your third progression, and instead of last year, first progression, second progression, choose or run for Bo, it's a first progression, second progression, third progression, choose or run at that point, and then maybe you even add layers onto it. I look at that as like your first progression, you're always going to be looking at 14. And does Cortland have the mismatch? Is leverage being used from the jump? and then Evan Ingram, middle of the field, and then kind of that Vele, like, yeah, that's my third progression because you're probably just running some sort of drag thing across the field with a defender on your back shoulder, and Bo places the ball where it's supposed to be. You're looking at a few yards, and if one tackle is missed, who knows what that play comes in.
It's an easy pitch and catch, basically. It's like Michael Crabtree did for the 49ers, where you're running a drag route, but you're going to catch, 50 passes, whatever the number was. So I look at Pat Bryant, Devon Vele, Marvin Mims, and yes, even Troy Franklin. We need to see where that young receiver at is his development. But this is weapon after weapon after weapon. Not known weapons yet. And that's where people may bag on it. Yeah, but they don't have any other than Sutton and Ingram. But where are the known weapons? This is how they get known, is they get grown. Why am I going Johnny Cochran? Like, you get known because you get grown, and that's what training camp is for. So I'm here for all those young cats. I want Troy Franklin to take that next step. He's got multiple steps to take, and if he does that, imagine the packages that you can break out there. If you are Sean Payton, right? You almost have, we have a Sutton, Vele, Mims package, but then we have a speed package, but Bryant plays the Sutton role. So Bryant, Franklin, Mims. Now it's speed, and clutch.
Yeah.
Because that's what Pat Bryant is. He is clutch. So you have different packages you can play with. Not a tight end. You only have it Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
He's the only one. He's the only one. Nobody else can catch passes, but he's the only one. Nate Atkins a little sneaky once in a while, but like that packages that you will be able to present to opponents will give you, irritable bowel syndrome. You will personally wet yourself when you're preparing for the Denver Broncos, and that's what these packages can create.
That's one of the 98 side symptoms of all those commercials on TV. You might get IBS.
Rizzy.
Yeah. You might have everyone around you. You might throw up when you're driving to work.
Right.
One of the several things.
But you won't have whatever it's for.
Right.
You'll have all this other stuff.
But your minor headache will go away. Defensive side sees for season questions. I mean, I've kind of narrowed it down to two different categories. One's health. Can Greenlaw, Hufanga, and Singleton / Riley Moss stay healthy? And then the other part of that is just Nick Bonito and the D-line. Can they do it again and not to the tune of 63 sacks? I told Danny last week when he was sitting in for you, 50, 55, is that something that the Broncos defense can do? And that's still a really, really healthy number.
Yeah, that's an outstanding number. And I don't want people to look at the sack numbers if they are short of 60 and be like, oh, what a down year. No. It's pressures. It's pressure. Pressure is what affects quarterbacks the most. Sacks are just the result. But a well-timed pressure can get you a pick six. It can get you an incomplete. Like a pressure has a sack ends in a sack. Maybe a sack fumble, okay? But a sack ends in a sack. A pressure can be a pick. It can be one of those when the quarterback goes to throw and the ball falls out of his hand. Like pressure can be he takes off to run, then it's a fumble. Pressure can be more impactful than sacks. So I agree with you, 50 plus. Let's not get, too dialed into like, they're not going to be on track for 63. Like, whatever.
It was the most they've ever had as a team in franchise history.
Yes.
Let's not act like they're just going to go do that again.
Right. And that goes individually as well, right? Well, Nick Bonito, he's not on, pressures. Zach Allen, well, he's not. No, pressures. Only Zach Allen and Aaron Donald have 40 quarterback pressures in a season from the defensive tackle position. That's incredible. So give me the pressure numbers for this team because that's what's going on right now. And it's one of the reasons why, if we speak about pressure, Vance Joseph is under the most pressure of anybody on the Broncos, period. Player, coach, executive. He's the guy. It has to work this year. It has to work. And a damn Star Wars reference that you won't ever get. This had better work.
Mm-hmm.
This had better work. Vance Joseph, you have everything, man. This had better work.
What was the Star Wars reference? Was it?
Grand Moff Tarkin was telling Darth Vader about their plan to destroy Yavin, the rebel base. And that's when he went to Vader and said, this had better work.
He's like, what else do you need? You already have the guy kissing his sister. This had better work. Something like that.
Exactly. Yes. I like the version of your Star Wars that you just write. Write your own Star Wars.
I should write my own. It'd be less than 7. I know. How many are there total?
We're not going to count the sequel trilogies. 6.
Okay, 6. I could probably tell the story in less than 6 movies. 100%.
Okay.
No doubt about that. All right, so yeah, those are the kind of questions that we're looking at moving into this season. And then the other part of that is expectations. What do you have to do this season for it to be looked at and considered a success? I can't even speak English. It to me is, I don't think it's as simple as, well, that's it. You just have to go and win a playoff game. I don't know, man. Like I said, I think you can get into a spot where not right away, but if they get into let's say Bo Nix looks outstanding this year and looks better than Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, JJ McCarthy, and Michael Penix Jr. I honestly don't think it's much of a battle outside of anybody not named Jaden Daniels. I think he's going to look better than those guys. Let's say Bo looks better than every quarterback in his class from a year ago.
Okay.
And they win the AFC West.
Okay.
But you go into that first round and you lose on a last-second field goal, a fluke Hail Mary type of play.
Yeah.
In the moment, and you and I get to work on Monday, I'll be emotional. I'll be going, what the hell? How did it get? All of those things will be said. And then in a month, you'd take a step back and you'd go, damn, Bo is the dude. From the 2024 NFL draft class, Bo is the dude. And they just dethroned the Kansas City Chiefs. It's not like I'd be writing my family and telling them, let me tell you a story about the 2025 Denver Broncos. But I could still look at that as a positive step in the right direction. Maybe not the leap that you and I and a lot of folks in Broncos country are looking for, and I get why.
Right.
But that would still feel pretty good.
We want progress. I'd say that. Like, I'm greedy. I want a Super Bowl. I'm greedy and maniacal and emotional and opinionated, and I want a Super Bowl. I think they can get it this year. I think that Santa Clara was a great spot to win a Super Bowl. It'd be another great spot to go win another Super Bowl. And my man Craig got them beautiful gas station burritos for y'all
Shout
this
out
morning.
for him today. Shout out to
There
you,
you go.
Cecil.
Craig said RJ plus JK equals VL. What's 60? The Roman numeral? Kev has to look it up real quick. But he did that, and I was like, I'm totally going to steal that from you, Craig.
That's good, Craig.
RJ and JK equals LX.
LX. Okay.
RJ plus JK equals LX.
LX.
Lux.